The Tribal Chief doesn't forgive. The Tribal Chief doesn't forget. And on Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden, Roman Reigns made sure the entire WWE Universe remembered exactly who runs this yard. Welcome back, Wrestling Streams Familia. No filler, just fire, and tonight, we are breaking down one of the most jaw-dropping endings to a Raw in years. Roman Reigns has returned, Seth Rollins has a tainted win over CM Punk, and the road to WrestleMania just got turned completely upside down. Buckle in, because this one is a lot to unpack. Let's take it back to where all of this began. If you've been following the storyline, you already know that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have had unfinished business ever since the Royal Rumble. After both men were eliminated from the men's Royal Rumble match, Rollins didn't just walk away. The Visionary unleashed a vicious assault on the Tribal Chief, hitting him with multiple stomps, including one onto the steel ring steps. It was a statement. A message. Rollins wanted Reigns to know that his era was over, that the head of the table had no throne left to sit on. Roman Reigns was sidelined, absent from WWE television, and the IWC was buzzing about whether we'd see him again before WrestleMania. Well, we got our answer Monday night, and it came wrapped in violence. Now, before we get to the moment that broke the internet, let's give credit where it's absolutely due, because the steel cage match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins was nothing short of a war. These two men have genuine hatred for each other, and when you lock them inside a steel cage at Madison Square Garden, that hatred produces something special. From the jump, the cage became a weapon. Punk's right shoulder was bright red early on after he took a buckle bomb straight into the steel, and that set the tone for just how physical this match was going to get. The spots kept coming. Punk climbed to the top of the cage, setting up his signature diving elbow drop, only for Rollins to cut him off. They traded shots on the top of the cage before Punk got crotched, and then Rollins superplexed him all the way down to the mat. The crowded message absolutely lost their minds, and yet somehow, Punk kicked out. That's the thing about CM Punk, he's relentless. The man simply refuses to stay down. They exchanged strikes in the middle of the ring before Punk hit a GTS for a near fall. Punk went for another, only for Rollins to reverse it into an STF, a direct callback to how Punk lost at Elimination Chamber. Punk reversed that into the Anaconda Vice. Rollins broke free and hit a curb stomp, and still Punk kicked out. Then Rollins hit a GTS of his own, stealing Punk's move, and again, Punk kicked out. The crowd was on their feet the entire time. This was appointment television. At one point, Punk could have walked straight out of the cage door to win the match. But Rollins told him that if he really wanted to prove himself, he needed to finish the fight, not escape. That moment right there told you everything about the psychology of this rivalry. It's not just about winning for these two. It's personal. It's about pride, about proving dominance, about making the other man tap out or stay down for 3. So Punk stayed. And the match continued to escalate. Then it happened. As Rollins was about to finish Punk off, Roman Reigns appeared out of nowhere and dragged Seth out of the cage door, technically giving Rollins the victory by escape. The pop that erupted at message was massive. The Tribal Chief was back, and nobody saw it coming at that exact moment. But what followed made it very clear that Roman wasn't there to do Seth Rollins any favors. Once the match was declared over, Reigns delivered a Superman punch and a spear to Rollins on the outside. He followed that up by hitting Rollins with a stomp on the floor, and then set Rollins up for a stomp onto the steel ring steps, the exact same payback move for what Seth did to him at the Royal Rumble before WWE officials and Adam Pearce ran down to stop it. Make no mistake about it, Familia Reigns didn't pull Rollins out of that cage because he wanted Seth to win. He pulled him out because he wanted to get his hands on him. That victory for Rollins? Purely incidental. A technicality. What Reigns really wanted was blood. But then came the moment that flipped the entire narrative on its head. After the officials pulled Reigns away from Rollins, Roman noticed that Paul Heyman, his wiseman, his special counsel, was inside the cage checking on CM Punk, consoling the man who had just been beaten. And if you know Roman Reigns, you know that seeing Heyman tending to his enemy was the worst possible sight. Reigns re-entered the cage, floored Punk with a spear, and stood tall as Raw went off the air. Let that sink in for a second. Roman Reigns came back, gave Seth Rollins a tainted win over CM Punk, then destroyed Rollins on the outside, then turned around and speared CM Punk anyway. He left both men broken at Madison Square Garden. The Tribal Chief isn't aligned with anybody right now. He came back for one reason and one reason only: revenge. On Seth Rollins for the Royal Rumble attack. On CM Punk for his connection to Heyman. On anyone who thought the head of the table was done. Now let's talk about where this is all going, because the WrestleMania picture just got significantly clearer. With Punk and Rollins now officially tied at 1 win apiece, the trilogy is intact. And with Roman Reigns making his presence felt in the most dominant way possible, a triple threat match between Reigns, Rollins, and Punk at WrestleMania is looking not just likely, it's looking inevitable. Punk versus Rollins versus Reigns. 3 of the greatest of their generation, colliding on the grandest stage in professional wrestling. That's not just a match, that's a spectacle. Think about the layers here. CM Punk has beef with both men. Rollins cost him his WrestleMania title opportunity, and now Reigns just speared him inside the cage while Heyman stood right there watching. Seth Rollins got a win on Monday, sure, but he took 2 stomps from Roman Reigns on the way out and was saved from a third only by officials. And Roman Reigns? He's operating on pure fury right now. No alliance. No agenda beyond settling scores. That makes him the most dangerous man in this equation. The Paul Heyman element adds another layer of complexity that the IWC is going to be dissecting all week. Heyman checking on Punk is the kind of detail that can unravel an entire storyline. Is Heyman truly loyal to Roman? Is he playing both sides? Is there something deeper going on between Heyman and Punk that Roman needs to worry about? These are the questions that WWE has planted, and they are going to pay off in a massive way before we get to WrestleMania. What happened at Madison Square Garden on Monday Night Raw wasn't just a great television moment. It was the official announcement that the most dangerous man in WWE is back. He is angry, and nobody, not Seth Rollins, not CM Punk, not Paul Heyman, is safe from what's coming. The tribal chief acknowledged nobody on Monday night. He just destroyed everybody in his path and posed standing tall when it was all said and done. That is the kind of energy that sells WrestleMania. That is the kind of chaos that the wrestling streams familia lives for. Roman Reigns is back. The road to WrestleMania just got a whole lot more interesting, and we will be here every step of the way breaking it all down for you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you hyped for Punk vs Rollins vs Reigns at WrestleMania? Let us know. If you're not subscribed to Wrestling Streams yet, hit that button right now. No filler, just fire always. We'll see you in the next one.